Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be covering my recent pre-screen interview for Disney's Cultural Exchange Program over at Job headquarters in Epping. So my interview was at 9:45 in the morning, and because we already had a group chat going from the Facebook page, we'd already organised to meet in the morning at 8:45 at Starbucks, which is across the road from Jobs. So we could have a coffee and get to speak to each other in person before heading inside to the Job head office. Okay, so today is the day of the pre-screen interviews. It's the Tuesday now, so there was interviews yesterday. Mine's today. Everyone's just in Starbucks at the moment, so I'll just come out here to record a little bit of the vlog for you. If the trucks going past don't cause too much noise. Starbucks is there, the Job's office. It's just over there, next to the British Heart Foundation. See if I can zoom in. Little grey door right there, where there's already people waiting. It's currently 9:32. We have to be there at 9:45, so I think we're going to set off about 10 minutes time. Starting to get really nervous right now. As you can see from that clip, the Starbucks itself was literally right across the street from Job's office. So around 9:40 in the morning, we went across the road to meet up with all the other applicants that wasn't in the group chat before heading inside to Jobs. So 9:45 hit and nobody moved. And me being the eager and excited person that I am, I was the first person to head up to Job's door and hit the bell. A minute or so later, one of the Job's representatives came down and let us all inside. The first thing was to sign in. Now at this point we was given a sticker which had an interview time on it and also a Disney character which would relate to a group that we would be in later on. Then we went to sit down, and because I was the first one in the Job offices, I got sat straight at the front row. Right, so I'm currently in Job's head office, just about to start the presentation. I don't really want to put my camera out with everyone around. Fingers crossed, I'm so excited. Waiting for us on the seats was a few pieces of paperwork for us as well. Number one was information about the program itself. Now this has consisted of visa costs, housing fees, and the program start dates. Number two was a role checklist. Now this has told us all the roles that was available, told us exactly what it consisted of for each role, and we just had to take which roles we was interested in and hand it in later on in the day. And the third thing was just some information from STA Travel, who Jobs works with to get discounted flights over to Orlando. Now whilst everyone else was signing in, we was told that if we would like to, we could go and get a photograph with the famous Jobs Disney wall, which I did and is showing on screen right now. Now once the presentation started, the Jobs team introduced themselves, talked about the program itself and the roles that were available. They then did a short quiz where they gave out candy to whoever answered correctly. Unfortunately, I wasn't actually chosen to answer any questions, so I didn't get any of that. We was then shown a few videos about the program itself, which got me even more excited than I already was. Now all of this took about an hour, and then we were told to wait outside the Jobs offices once again so they could prepare for the interviews a little bit later on. Now I was in the first set of interviews, so I didn't have to wait too long, and once we went back inside we were split up into the characters that was on our stickers, mine being Peter Pan. I was in a group of about 8 people and was asked to introduce ourselves to the rest of the group using the classic starburst technique. If you're not familiar with the starburst technique, they basically asked us to take a starburst candy out of the bag, and whichever colour candy we got related to a question which we then had to answer. The different questions were favourite destination, favourite food, an interesting fact about yourself, or free choice of any of the above. I got the favourite destination question, to which I obviously said Florida, but apart from that, one of the favourite places that I have been to before is Australia. We were asked to bring a few items to the interview with us as well, those being a passport style photograph, copy of our CV, a copy of our passport photo page, and the checklist that we completed earlier on for the roles. Now we were then asked some different questions, to which it was open house to who actually answered. There wasn't any specific order which we could answer in, which I actually found quite annoying, because every time I tried to speak up and answer a question, somebody else blurted in and spoke over me, and I don't know, I just didn't feel like re-interrupting them to answer the question, because that does sound rude. So I had to wait for a better moment later on, when it quietened down a little bit, to actually get into my answer. I would have preferred it if we did it one at a time. Now, I can't remember all of the questions, but I will try my best to recall some of them. We were asked such things as, how would you cope living in Disney housing? Why do you want to work for Disney? What advantages would this program give to you once you return back to university? Another question such as, if a guest wanted a certain item but you didn't have it in stock, how would you handle the situation? And if a guest was waiting 3 hours for the Frozen Ever After ride, and just as they got to the front, it broke down, how would you handle it? We were then asked our top 2 role preferences, to which I said character performer and food and beverage, because I have already done food and beverage in my previous program and I really enjoyed it, so I wouldn't mind doing that again. This whole section lasted around an hour, and it was more like a relaxed, informal chat. It wasn't intimidating to me whatsoever. So there was only 4 days of interview dates this year, and only 1 available start date as well. So my guess is that they're not actually taking on as many people as what they usually do in previous years. And as you can see, I did grow my beard out for the interview. I just made sure it complied with the Disney look guidelines, so the neckline was cleaned up and that it wasn't over 1/4 of an inch long. So now it's just a waiting game to hear back from Yummy Jobs and Disney themselves, as we were told that Disney would be in touch with us just to fill out a basic information form, so that Disney does have our information. We will be getting that on the 3rd of October, and then on the 11th of October, we should be hearing back about the results from this interview just gone. Now the final interviews will be held at the end of October, start of November. The only downside being for myself is, as an alumni from a previous program, they did tell us that any alumni won't have to go to the Disney headquarters to have their final interview, and that any alumni would have their interview via Skype. Now I'm not too sure if this actually includes me, because my program was like 6 years ago now, and it was the CRP, not the CEP, so maybe it's a little bit different. I kind of do want to go to Disney headquarters, so I hope it's different. But we'll find out about that when I do get the email from Yummy Jobs. So until then, there's not really much else to say. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and also leave a comment down below if there's any questions that you'd like to ask about the pre-screen interviews, or if you was at the pre-screen interviews, if there's anything that I have missed, mention it down below as well. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon.